episode of Homegrown Staff Edition. We are so happy to be joined by Miss Lorraine Bethea, our admissions coordinator here in her office, which is one of the more unique ones in the whole building here at New Hope and Rock Hill. I think it's personally the best, the most inviting. Obviously, being the admissions coordinator, this is one of the first locations in the building where intakes happen and kids come. So having a welcoming, inviting space is kind of what you've created here, as you can see by the wall decor, which I'm sure we'll get into in this episode. But we're happy you're joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So, Miss Lorraine, let's hop in and kind of talk about your history here at New Hope and what your current title and role is.
Okay. I want to say I started probably 2008. Once about 2008.
Gotcha.
I came in, I was floor staff, and then I was a team lead for about 11 years.
Wow.
We started with the girls, our former Safe Harbor group. Went to Foundations, and from Foundations I went to Triad.
Gotcha.
And I stayed with Triad until Triad faded out.
Okay.
And then I was a team leader on New Choices. And I stayed there with those boys until I came down to, I started at HI.
Gotcha. Tell me what Triad was. What unit, what kind of residents did Triad house?
Triad housed sex offenders with ID.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect.
So, and it was the same ages, 12 to 18.
12 to 18, okay. And was Triad the one that you were on for the longest time?
I want to say a mix between Triad and New Choices.
Gotcha.
Yes, I was with Triad. I was here when our Waypoint 1 community started up.
Okay.
So they Waypoint 1 kind of took Triad's place. So
I
that
see.
when Triad faded out, that's when Waypoint 1 came in.
Gotcha. I don't think I've heard of Triad before, so thank you for elaborating on that. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. And so now you do intake, so you meet new residents and kind of help them get adjusted and everything like that. So what does like your day-to-day look like?
The day-to-day on a daily admission day, I will come in, I'll prep, get everything ready for the intake. And sometimes I like to read up on a kid just to see what they like.
Right.
A way to get through to them to make them a little bit more comfortable. Like you just not a person walking in the door.
Right.
Just make them feel welcoming. And from the beginning, when they first come in, I go out, introduce them. My initial conversation starts with the kids.
Okay.
Because they're the ones that's going to be staying with us.
Right.
And they're more so the ones that are the most angry or nervous or coming in here. So I focused on them up until they get comfortable enough. Because we got to get them to the point where they're going to go to the clinic, where they're going to be participating and talking to the therapist, and hopefully to get through it without just being so angry.
Usually, what do you see most often? Do you see that a lot of the kids who are coming in know that they're coming to New Hope, or is it like a surprise to them that they show up in your office for intake?
For the most part, a lot of them know that they're coming to New Hope or know that they're going to a residential facility.
Gotcha.
We do have cases where they come in and they tell the kids that they're going to Carowinds.
Are you serious?
We have kids coming in. My last recollection was she said this was the dentist's office. So, and we prep for that as well.
Yeah.
And I kind of give the front desk code words to say if they're saying they're coming in for intake, okay. If they're saying they're coming in for admission, but when they use words like appointments or meeting, then you know that the kid more than likely don't know that they're coming here.
So, from our listeners who maybe aren't as familiar with residential treatment settings and the different things that can bring someone here, could you elaborate on why a kid might not be told or why it might not be so forthcoming where they're going? Like the risks in them knowing?
That would be, it's kind of understandable, especially if a family's been dealing with a lot from the kid. A lot of them are high AWOL risk.
Okay.
So if they know that they're coming then they more than likely will run.
Right.
Or either you get ones, it becomes a safety hazard where the guardian felt like they would be in danger if they were bringing the kid here.
Gotcha.
So we get a big variety of behavioral and, I wouldn't say behavioral, because it flips from like self-harm to more
Right.
behavioral. So we kind of toddle between those like seasons almost.
So the fear is either this future resident may hurt themselves if they know they're coming, may hurt other people, or decide to AWOL. In other words, known as run away.
Yes,
And-
ma'am.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for elaborating on
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Yeah, that's a big one because, I mean, from the outside looking in, and especially being a past resident myself, not knowing what to expect of what's going on when you already feel like everything is chaotic feels unfair. But also, I feel like I put my mom in a lot of situations where she didn't know how I was going to react. And when you're trying to keep somebody who is an at-risk youth safe, sometimes you don't get to have the luxury of being forthcoming with them.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we get where they come in, I like to be transparent with the kids when they come in here, whether they coming in for our three of our different services. When they come in, I always introduce and let them know why you're here.
Right.
Sometimes it's a little bit easy to pull the Band-Aid off. Sometimes it's a little bit harder. Especially when they tell the kid that they're only going to be here for 20, like a crisis center for 24 hours, 48
Oh,
hours.
wow.
And then when you explain it to them,
Right.
and I like to explain it to them so they're not surprised when mom didn't come pick me up.
Exactly.
The next day, mom didn't come and get me. And then that
Absolutely.
creates a situation for the communities.
So in this space, this is where the truth comes out, and this is where the reality kind of sets in.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. So, what are the 3 different levels that we have for intake, like that you just spoke about?
We have our DAP program,
Okay.
and that's our turning point assessment program.
Okay.
It's stated as a 30-day program, but typically they make a recommendation on day 30. So depending on that recommendation, whether they'll stay with us or level down or go to a lateral move or go back home.
Gotcha.
Then we have our PRTF services, and those services are long-term services. And I always try to tell kids I say use the term 369, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So you'll be here for at least the minimum of those months.
Gotcha.
And then we
Gotcha.
have our emergency crisis beds.
Okay.
And I believe those are 45 to 60 days crisis, and those are kids that don't have anywhere else to go.
Gotcha.
So
And kind
we
of are
just-
waiting for placement or waiting
yeah.
to age out or something like that.
Yes, ma'am. But
Gotcha.
they still get the services that they need while they're with us.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you for breaking those down to me. I think I was the middle one you mentioned because I was here for 9 months when I was here. So I was here on the longer end of things, and then I transitioned home.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. So okay. Awesome.
The intake process specifically, you mentioned, the different situations that, kids come into. They're maybe not aware of what's going on. You try to, like you said, maybe not rip the Band-Aid off, but be as open as possible with them. How has your process maybe changed over the years, making kids comfortable as you're, welcoming them in for however, whatever period of time they're going to be here for? I'm sure things have certainly evolved over the years. Obviously, there's a TV up there now. You show some of our internal videos, some of the messages that people have recorded to maybe, enlighten them a little bit as to what they're maybe going to experience and hopefully ease their mind somewhat. But, for you, just, day to day, I'm sure intakes are specific and unique in their own right. Each case is certainly different, but how have things evolved for you for each intake?
I want to say kind of evolved in reading the room, if that makes sense. So you can pick up from when they come in and they sit down, you can pick up different dynamics, like the stress level with the mom or the family, whether the kid sits over here and the mom sits there, or if they're on the phone doing the intake. You pick up on different cues, so you kind of adjust yourself accordingly with each family and resident you're dealing with.
I was just thinking, have you ever felt fearful doing your job? Because there's so many unknowns, and when you're just getting to know somebody, like, has it ever come up where you're like, oh, I don't feel safe in this environment, or the parent or the guardian doesn't feel safe, and how do you handle that?
We've had to separate admissions at times where we'll do the intake, and the resident will be in one room and the guardian will be in the next room.
Gotcha.
And then when we're doing that, I always try to at least get it to the point of you're going to want to see them before they leave.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it's just a look,
Yeah.
but it also gives the guardian the time to say, I love you, and like that.
We're going to
But-
get through this.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So it's kind of a difference with each family that you come in with.
Right.
And as far as being fearful, I think being on the floor for so many years. I think-
You're always stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. And then, like I said, I read them.
Yes.
You got to read them. Like if you're on the floor, you know when behavior's getting ready to escalate.
Right.
You look for little
You feel the
triggers.
energy
You look
and-
at the
yes.
different things. And sometimes after reading, if we're coming across like an aggressive person,
Yeah.
I don't want to define kids by their paperwork. So if
That's such
they,
a big one, Miss Lorraine. I
Yes,
love that you
ma'am.
said that. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
But if you reading in, this kid is highly aggressive, this kid is X, Y, and Z,
Right.
and then I sometimes I get staffed because of the unknown.
Right.
But then now I've learned to kind of not just get assistance,
Right.
but maybe just bring in one or two of the community staff that they'll
Yeah.
be going to, because you don't want the child to feel overwhelmed.
Exactly.
So if they're already anxious and you got a big old crowd coming, oh, you gonna get out the car, oh, you gonna do,
Yeah.
it just makes the whole process a lot harder.
Exactly. That's such a big one, because I think one of my favorite things about New Hope is that you're not defined by your past. Everyone is just worried about helping you get through so that you can get to where you're going next and the next step of your healing transitions and stuff. So I love that you said that. And I think to add to that, just being able to read the room and people know you're not the enemy. And
Yes, ma'am.
I think and I was just sharing with you before we started recording that wherever I go, whether I'm on the transformations community or Leap, like everyone is like, do you know Miss Lorraine? And so like you have that comfort with you with just already a hard moment of just starting this program. So
Yes, ma'am.
you really make a huge difference, and people just feeling like, all right, I can do this. This is a good first step to the next steps.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that.
And it's just it's really all about the kids, because
Yeah.
even I really like being across from the orientation class as well,
Yes.
because I sit back and I always try to let staff know when they ask for a piece of insight or something. And my insight is these kids probably been through more in their little bit of life than you've been through in your whole lifetime. So
And that's the thing, because the residents here aren't just kids, 12 years old, 13, 14, so on and so forth. They've actually experienced a lot of trauma, which grows us in ways that we're not always ready to grow. We're always ready to grow. And for people who have not experienced high trauma situations, it's really hard to
Yes,
understand
ma'am.
where
Yes,
someone
ma'am.
is. Like, yes, chronologically, this person may be 15 years old, but they've experienced the amount of trauma and then healing and then more trauma as some 30, 40, and some people don't even experience this amount of trauma in their lives.
yes, ma'am.
So it's really hard to relate when you don't understand that part. It's like, yes, these are adolescents, but also they know a lot more because they've had to go through
A lot more.
Yeah. So
And then also, I like to put in perspective with them. These kids have families. They're just like your kids,
Yeah.
but they just had issues going on. They had trauma happen, things happen. When I was on the floor, it was like, Lord, who bad child is this? Where
Right.
you come from?
right.
But then being on
What
this
happened
side,
to you?
yes.
Yeah.
Then it was like, why are you so angry?
Exactly.
But then being here and getting a different insight, being in the missions, getting a different insight
Yeah.
from the resident and the family, it's like a whole new door opened up.
Yeah.
Because it's not parents just dropping their kids off. You know, they are truly seeking help.
Right.
So they're trying to save their kids.
Exactly.
And the kids don't realize that. They just look, oh, my mama don't want me home. Oh, no, they're trying to save your life.
Yeah.
Because it's a rough world out there.
Absolutely. And we rather be the ones who help you versus the world
Yes, ma'am.
handling you.
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
We want to get you before the world does. Yeah. That's a big one.
And I said that, you know, the family's going through it a lot, too. It's not easy to put your child in place.
No, not at all.
It's not. And
the
then,
whole family feels it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And then even like social workers, even with that breaks my heart as well, because sometimes these social workers all they got when they don't have any family.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you know, everybody needs somebody, but some of them need a little bit of extra love because they don't have it, probably never had it,
Yeah.
and don't know what it is. So you just gotta, that's when they say everybody's treatment is different. You have to treat every resident different.
For who they are. They're not a number. You know, everyone is an individual and moves as an individual. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because I think a lot of times the decision is made for our residents who come through New Hope, as far as being here, but then they're given autonomy and ability to make their own decisions and make their own choices and their own treatment plans. And I think that's one of my favorite things too, just being able to kind of, okay, where do you want to go from here? Let's, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And I've also, I've learned a lot of people that come in here, we're a different experience for them. Like seeing them in the hallway, greeting staff, greeting the kids in the hallway. And they just like, when they come in, it's nervous. They nervous about coming in, and they looking and look around. By the time they leave here, they see the compassion in the staff. They see the kids not walking through here just miserable, and they have a different insight from when they come in and then when they leave.
Right.
Because the goal is, if you leaving your child with me, we're gonna make sure that
We're gonna make sure
child is
they're okay. Exactly. Oh, I love that. So what advice, I'm sorry, Patrick.
I was going to say, I just want to get back to the family dynamic real quick in terms of the intake process. How critical is the intake process for the parent or guardian as well, whoever's accompanying the kid in this instance? Do you have different approaches for the parent versus the kid? You know, what's that process look like in terms of the family aspect, making sure that both parties are comfortable and have an understanding of, you know, what the steps are moving forward?
Initially, it starts out with the kid, because the kid is going to be the one staying with us. The kid is going to be the one that has to go through the process. So it's getting that kid to a point that, okay, you know, I'm here. Let me figure out what I have to do.
Right.
And as opposed to the parent, you're going to be going.
Yeah.
So I know it's hard to leave your kid here, but it's harder for them to be in a facility.
Right.
So the focus is on the kid initially, but at the end, when you see the families and how much they're hurting, so it's kind of a start out the kid, get the kid situated, and then work with the families to get them comfortable enough to say that my child is in good hands.
Right. Right. Yeah. I was going to just ask, and feel free, Miss Lorraine, to add anything, because I know we kind of went off script from our questions, but I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for parents, or what advice would you share for parents who are dropping off their kid, or guardians or social workers? If it could be the perfect drop off, how would that look to you, and what advice would you give to prepare?
The perfect drop off is, for one, like back what I said again, with them bringing their kids in here, a lot of facilities, they don't get to meet the therapist, they don't get to meet the case manager, the doctor they'll talk to.
Right.
So we kind of tag all of that through the admission process.
So they get to meet their care team, essentially, or
Yes,
their...
ma'am, and the guardians as well. The guardians as well.
I did
so
not
we try
realize
to,
that.
yes,
That's really
ma'am.
nice.
So I try to make sure that they got a fit of what team that they're working with.
Gotcha.
So I inform the therapist, check down the therapist. You're going to come? Just stop in, pop in.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that they got a face. And even the case managers, I call them on the phone so they get to hear the voice, the transition specialists. Right. So it's just trying to make sure they know who they're working with and who's working for them.
Right, and who you're leaving your child with, because I think, it's really hard to relinquish control and just like being able to lay eyes on your baby. Essentially, you're dropping off. It's like, okay, I have to trust all these strangers to help my child who is struggling. That's a big,
yes, ma'am.
It's probably hard to trust initially, so that helps.
A lot. Yes, and then
knowing,
and we've been getting some families in here, like. We were going to drop the kids in the lobby. They was like, "Oh, we get to go back with them."
Right. It doesn't just stop here, because so many places it's like you meet the intake person downstairs, and then you watch your child go. You don't get to see the process or the space. Yeah.
And even at times like nursing will come in. They see the whole team. Nurse practitioner Jared, he'll come in, so that they get to meet the team that they'll be working with. And if they got any questions, people available that can answer the questions. Miss Williams, the guidance counselor, she even comes up so she can explain about education.
I did not realize that at all.
Yes,
that's so cool. And just the fact that residents are able to still have their schooling and be able to some graduate from here and just are able to have what they need in the transitional time.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am. So it's just really important. Just so they can put a face with a name.
Yes. That's great advice. Yeah, and just to know that when you come here, you're going to see what your child sees, or see at least what the breakdown of the order of events is going to be.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you got the education part, the clinical part, the nursing part.
Right.
You see the therapist, the team leaders, and the supervisors all come down to meet the families so they know who's working with their kids.
That's incredible.
I chase people down.
Yeah, there you go. I know you do. You find everyone and get everyone in place. So.
And then if it's like, I know a lot of times therapists will see them later, but like if it's something pressing, I make sure the appropriate people need to get
right in place.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Lorraine. that was awesome. I loved hearing just that advice, and I know there's not necessarily the perfect drop off, but just maybe parents or guardians who are struggling or thinking about coming to New Hope will hear this and say, okay, this is how I can get prepared, and this is what it's going to look like when we drop off.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it's just taking away that unknown. Because I feel like
that's where the fear kicks in. It's like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if this is going to work or,
Yeah, and then if you drop in at the door, you don't know what's on the other side of the door. So it gives them the opportunity to look around, and cases where they can't go to the community, I'll open the door so the floors are pretty much set up just like we are, and just give them a breakdown of what the floors look like, especially when they tell them the kids are quarantined. They want to make sure they're not isolated in an area
exactly
somewhere.
That's a big one. Can you share a moment where you saw somebody's transformation take place here at New Hope?
Yes, ma'am. We had a young lady come in. She came in. She was in custody of the aunt.
Okay.
The aunt no longer wanted anything to do with her. She just reached a breaking point.
Okay.
The little girl came in. She had to get some medical clearance.
Okay.
So,
what does that mean?
She had something going on, and they just send them out to make sure that they'll be safe and good here.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, with her, and all of her belongings were on the front, right on the front
of New Hope.
Yes, ma'am.
On the stairs.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
And sad to say, the aunt said, "Leave it there, throw it in the trash." The little girl looked at me and she said, "That's all I have. Please don't throw my stuff away." And I just put my arm around her. I said, "I'll hold on to it as long as I need to." The little girl, she wound up getting admitted. She's a very strong-minded little girl, but I believe she'll be a success story for you.
Yes, absolutely.
But she wound up doing this art wall.
Wow.
Art was music to her eyes. And she took and she did that wall. Even later on, it became her therapist started using sessions while she was in here painting.
Wow.
And the therapist got more information
While she was creating this
painting than she did in all her sessions here.
Wow.
The same, well, the young lady now, she's out. I'm still in communication with her.
Nice.
So, and she's working for it. She's trying to join the military, and
Wow.
she's trying to get to a point where she can come back and give her story.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, she has a story to tell. But, and,
Oh my goodness. That's incredible. I don't think that I realized that this was created by a resident while they were still currently a resident.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Even through her behavioral challenges, and she was 14 years old.
Wow. And what year was this? When was this? When did she?
She just
draw
turned
this?
18, so 4
Few
years
years ago.
21.
Wow.
Yeah, 2021.
That's incredible,
So
Miss Lorraine.
she's still painting.
As she should.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
she's got a gift.
Yes, she's
Yeah.
going to bring some
Yeah.
light and color to the military when she joins.
And I mean,
That's
for
incredible.
a lot of people, I mean, sometimes maybe, your past, your traumas, it's tough for you to convey your feelings and share your thoughts, but you could express yourself through art.
Yes, yes.
And like obviously in her case, it certainly as you're if you're still watching, thank you. You can see behind us, it's incredible work.
Yes.
So she's got a skill and a gift, and hopefully she's still doing that. It sounds like she is.
Yes, yes.
That's incredible. That is a success story. Like 100%.
And I told her I'd be there from the beginning. I'm
There we
still
go.
with the now.
Yes. I know you are. I know you are. This is incredible. And I just look at it, just with such a different heart. Like, it was already incredible walking in, but just knowing that this actually was like a part of someone's transformation.
Yes, ma'am.
And just ability to talk while you work is also great.
Yes.
That her therapist met her where she was at.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And the therapist even started saying, "Oh," she said, "when she could come back down." I said, "You can come do your sessions in here."
Yeah, absolutely.
But she was doing the sessions, and she was like, she was gathering a lot of information, and sometimes I even left out so she can talk to her about different
Right.
stuff. Maybe that she was
Because it probably got very
to.
deep.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So at that point, this mural was a transformation for her.
Okay.
Wow.
I can see. I can see.
Did
That's
people
incredible.
comment on this when they especially during intakes when they first come in? Because it's jarring when you first walk in the office. Is one of the first things you look at.
Yeah.
Does it make people feel more comfortable or inviting? Do you share that story too? That a former
Yes, that a former resident did it, and
It's a
I
good
think
talking
it's-
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good icebreaker.
Yeah, for sure.
But then it also, you can't see the other artwork on the wall, it's showing that the kids appreciate it. And we are just not a facility where you just put your kids into. We are an active facility
Right.
where we care about the well-being mentally, physically, in the treatment, even like helping them flourish with things that they need to grow with.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I feel like that's like a mic drop moment. Thank you for sharing. And maybe I'm sure Patrick will grab some of this so that we can share the other artwork that's in here, because there are so many different expressions of just the process.
and everything on the wall was done by
Residents.
residents. Because obviously in the hallway too, there's a lot more on display. But
Yes.
yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
amazing.
and our kids are very, very talented.
They are.
And it's to get it out of them, and it's helping them go through things. And it probably helping them more than we even know.
Absolutely. So, Miss Lorraine, I want to end on this note. And you've answered this in so many words throughout our time together today. But if you could sum up for me, what keeps you coming back? You've been here for years and years and years. So, what keeps you?
What keeps me coming back and driving me is seeing the compassion the staff has for the kids, as well as the kids. I went through a difficult point in my life, and it was just like, okay, you sit home and mope about it. You sit home. No, I came in here and used the kids. The kids became my inspiration, because everything that you're going through, everything that you've been through, you still find the courage to manifest a smile and come up and, oh, hey, Miss Lorraine, it's like you feel a genuine love from
Absolutely.
the kids, and it was just like, you know, I could only imagine that. Who wouldn't want to feel it?
Yeah.
You know, everything that you've been through, you still got a smile for me. So that's a really important piece, and that keeps me coming back.
That is an important piece. Oh, you go, baby, tear God. I love that. That's amazing. That's incredible. I don't have anything else to add to that. Just thank you so much for being here for us and also for the podcast today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. You've been very patient with me over the years and with everything. So thank you so much, Miss Lorraine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Lorraine.
Yes, yes.
I'll get in there too. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of Hope Grown. We'll see you on the next one.